I'm not sure how this one's gonna go. Just gonna let it rip. The first half of this video is gonna be spoiler free, and then I'll tell you guys when the spoilers kick in. Pretty much after the final grade, that's when you know my spoilers gonna kick in. But I just saw Venom 2, and let's talk about it right now on this episode of Movie Breakdowns. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's Movie Breakdowns? A movie review series looking at new or old movies. Give them a grade, 8 through F, plus or minus do count. And this movie review you want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below, and I get to as best I can. I also have a Patreon, Patreon/Ali Zakka. We get to cut in front of everybody for only $2 a month. $2 a month. You get to pay me. I go review whatever you want me to review. You get to cut in front of everybody. It's on Patreon before it comes on Facebook and YouTube. And now, let's go ahead and get into today's episode of Venom, There Be Carnage, or Venom 2, that just came out. And what is the story of this movie? So, Eddie and Venom are currently trying to get used to each other living together, and they are constantly speaking to a serial killer by the name of Cletus Cassidy. And when Cletus Cassidy finds himself in prison on the executioner block, he develops the power of Carnage, which this is also in the trailer, and it's up to Venom and Eddie to kind of stop Carnage. That is the gist of Let There Be Venom, or Let There Be Carnage. Venom, Let There Be Carnage. That's the gist. Now, my thoughts, the things I like. Tom Hardy is great in this movie. Venom is fantastic in this movie. I love the buddy cop relationship between Venom and Eddie. That's really a cool dynamic in this movie. And anytime Venom and Eddie are together, it is really like, yes, I'm into this. And the stuff where you have a character that says something and the character in the background is like contradicting what that person's saying or saying something that's off the wall. I love that. That kind of comedy gets me, and this movie has that similar comedy to it. I did like the hour and 30-minute length. This movie is a 90-minute movie, and I think that is great. I think it's perfect. I think it's a solid time frame. An hour and 30 minutes to 2 hours is a solid time to tell a great story, I think. And this movie, even though it has some bits and pieces that are not perfect, it is definitely the hour and 30 minutes. I feel like this didn't hinder the movie. And Woody Harrelson as Cletus Cassidy, who is Carnage, I think Woody Harrelson, when he's purely as Cletus, is very menacing, threatening, and kind of like unhinged, which I love that. I think the acting in this movie is much better than the first movie. I would say that. But the things I didn't like in this movie is some of the pacing of it. After a certain part of the movie, there's a momentum shift, and you notice it. In the movie theater I was in, we all noticed it, and we all went from being like, yeah, to, okay, we're just here for the ride. And there's also other characters that get introduced in this movie that you're not really like, you don't really know what their powers are or their abilities are. They're just there, and you're kind of just like, well, it'd be neat we get to know who you are. What's your name? Besides the fact, or how did you get your abilities? Like, who are you? Like, I know your person name, but who are you? And also another thing I didn't really enjoy, I just like the tone flipped to me. The tone really flipped after, I would say, Act 1, half of Act 2, it really just dipped, and I'm just like, okay, sure. There's some dialogue in this movie, there's some dialogue issue where certain characters other than Venom or Eddie are talking and it just seems off. They did some rehash from the first movie, which is okay. And another thing that I wasn't just really a fan of itself was, I guess it's more of a spoiler section, so I'll have to wait to the spoiler section when I talk about that, but that's pretty much it. The dialogue in this movie wasn't the strongest. Oh, the cuts. There were some cuts too. There's some cuts in this movie where, like, things are just happening for plot's sake and just to keep the movie going, and you're just like, all right, sure, cool, fine. But other than that, like, I think the CGI is solid. The acting is one of the best things about this movie, and Venom and Eddie is one of the best things about this movie. That's pretty much it. And also give it possibly a more original story than the first movie. Alright, so this movie just came out in theaters, so I'm not going to talk about the budget and the how much the box office was, but let's go ahead and get into the director. Director Andy Serkis, he's the director of this movie, which I don't remember if he directed the first one. If he did, put in the comment section below. If he didn't, that's fine too. But yeah, it's neat seeing that he directed this one. You know what? Let me just stop this real quick and see if he did direct the first Venom movie. So he didn't direct the first Venom movie. So okay, he only directed the sequel. So yeah, as far as direction, as a director, I don't know, I thought it was fine. I didn't really like fall asleep in this movie. And I feel like the acting for characters, like how they designed the act, I think it was spot on for certain characters. Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock, I think Tom Hardy did great. I enjoyed him as Eddie in this movie. It's different from the comic book character, but it always, like, after Iron Man 3, I never really expect the movie to be similar to the comic books. But I think Eddie as a, like, straight-laced kind of character in this movie per se versus Venom, I think it's fine. And him voicing Venom, I think Tom Hardy did great. Woody Harrelson as Cletus Kasady, I think Woody Harrelson did great as Carnage and Cletus, and being somebody who's menacing and kind of off the hinge. And a lot of times, Woody Harrelson character in this movie reminded me of the 1990s Carnage in the animated cartoons for Spider-Man. It really reminded me of that guy. I was like, yeah, I definitely feel like this dude's unhinged and can't be trusted. And on top of that, they did give him a haircut, so he's not wearing that wig at the end of the first Venom movie. Michelle Williams as Annie. I thought she was okay. She wasn't really in the movie as much, but she was there. Naomi Harris as Frances Barrison. She is in the trailer. I'm talking more about her in the spoiler section, but I thought she was okay. Some of her dialogue wasn't the strongest. There's a line she says in the movie that really, like, irked me. Stephen Graham, by the way, who, if you guys saw This Is England review, I think Stephen Graham is a phenomenal actor. He's in this movie as Detective Mulligan. My only down thing about Stephen Graham in this movie is that he's not using his British accent. I really wish they just let him be use his actual voice in this movie, because for the character, the Detective Mulligan character, who I'd never heard of in the Marvel Universe, to me, like, he could have been a British guy. He could have had the accent. He could have been fine. Versus Stephen Graham speaking in a different voice, which is good acting for these guys. Like, I know Tom Hardy's British too, so good acting for those guys. But I kind of wish that we could have actually got Stephen Graham's actual voice. But I thought Stephen Graham was great. And then Reed Scott, who played Dr. Dan Lewis, he was okay for his part in the movie. And then Peggy Lou as Miss Chen from the first movie. She's back and she's fine. Okay, any other thoughts? Not really. I don't have anything else, man. I pretty much said what I need to say regarding this movie. It's fine. It's fine. It's not going to blow you out the park, but it's not going to really, like, you won't be disappointed. I would put it this way, if you enjoyed the first Venom movie, you might not like this movie as much. If you didn't enjoy the first Venom movie, you probably like, this movie's okay. To me, this is an original story. The story is more original than the first movie. The first movie kind of did a lot of early 2000 tropes and the same superhero things you've seen over and over again. This one was a little bit different. How Carnage came to be was different. How other characters came about was a little different. I just feel like there wasn't enough characters fleshed out enough. Characters make appearance, and you're just like, fine, I'm cool with this. Alright. Is this a Friday night movie or a movie you should see in theaters? Don't see this movie in theaters. You'll be fine waiting for it to come out on DVD. But I will say, if you do decide to see this in theaters, wait until you see the after credits. The after credits is worth the watch. It's worth the wait. And it's worth like sitting through. I remember when the after credits came on screen, everybody freaked out. Like we all geeked. So the after credits is worth it. Final grade. I'm gonna grade Venom Let There Be Carnage a C-. This movie gets a C- from me. The reason why it gets a C- is the first act is solid. After this first act, it really like just kind of dips and just leaves on a stale like straight path line. It doesn't dip any further. It just kind of like falls off a little bit. A lot to the point where you're just like, Tom Hardy, Woody Harrelson, and the rest of the cast, as far as the acting, is solid. There's some edits in the movie you're kind of like, okay. There's certain scenes that jump for plot's sake, and you also get the dialogue in this movie is not the strongest as far as a movie, but other than that, CGI was solid. Eddie and Venom's relationship in this movie is good, so yeah, it's a C- for me. If you guys seen Venom Let There Be Carnage, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, I'm not down here talking about spoilers. So if you don't want to sit around for spoilers, see you next time on the next episode of Movie Breakdown. Let's keep being awesome. Now, you guys, for spoilers, let's get ready to kick it off in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk about the biggest thing about this movie, and it's the best part of this movie to me. It's worth the sit. It's Venom is going to be in Spider-Man No Way Home. My God. The ending scene, the after credit scene, or the mid credit scene. Oh, yes, yes. So Venom and Eddie are in the movie. They're in a hotel in Mexico, and Venom and Eddie having a conversation, and Venom's about to show Eddie something, and like a kind of like a seismic event happened, and the room lights up, and Jonah J. Jameson is on the screen, and J.K. Simmons, Jonah J. Jameson, is on the screen, and he's talking about Spider-Man's a menace. It's the scene at the end of Spider-Man Far From Home. It's on TV, and Jonah J. Jameson is saying Peter Parker, who is Tom Holland, is the public enemy #1. And Venom and Eddie like, who is that? And Venom's like licking the screen, because he's like, we have our next guy. And Venom is going to be in No Way Home. I'm not sure if it's going to be like a big moment. I'm not sure if Venom's going to show up as like a side character or going to be like, you know, a cameo. But he is now in the MCU. Venom is now in the MCU. Oh, I cannot wait. Cannot wait for this movie. That's the best part of Venom, by the way. The mid-credit scene is the best part, because everything else in this movie is fine. Now, what I was saying earlier in the non-spoiler section, that there's a moment in this movie where the movie falls off. So Venom and Eddie gets into an argument. They split up because Venom wants to be an anti-hero, go out and eat people's head, but only kill bad guys. And Eddie's like, I just want a normal life. I don't want any of this. And they get into an argument, they fight each other, and they split. Venom goes and hops from body to body and goes to a rave and has a moment in the rave, and the song Venom from Eminem's version is playing and some girls singing it, and Venom takes the microphone because he's assuming that she's calling him up to the stage, and has his heart-to-heart with the crowd. And you're just like, okay, sure. And then Eddie's living his life as a normal person, and the reason the split happens, the movie takes a drop, but the reason why the split happens so that Carnage can have his time on screen. So Woody Harrelson gets Carnage by biting Eddie Brock and tastes his blood, and his blood has the red symbiote on it, and the red symbiote, Woody Harrelson eats the red symbiote, and then when they try to execute him, because Eddie Brock found saw a bunch of Woody Harrelson's cases, of Cletus's cases, so Woody Harrelson's about to get, executed, but then Carnage comes out to save his life, and then Carnage and Cletus goes and work together so that Cletus can find his beloved girlfriend from this insane asylum they was in years ago, and this girl by the name of Frances Barrison, who I don't even know her actual villain name. I want to say it was there's a DC character who Siren, I want to say, but that's not Siren, and it's not the X-Men mutant guy. I don't know who she is. She's got Black Canary kind of power. Just screams, she screeches, and their sound noise affects people. And there's a point where this is almost like a clash between Carnage and her, because the sound messes with Carnage like it does Venom. Like sound noises hurts the symbiote, but they don't really play into that. And like, for example, there's a scene where she's falling and she screams for no reason. You know, Venom had no idea that she's gonna scream. They're gonna team up together. Venom's like, well, there's one person who can affect this, and he smacks her off the ledge, and she starts screaming, but like not screaming as in like help me. She's screaming like as in, I'm mad, I'm gonna scream at you, and you're just like, why she scream? Like, what if she didn't scream? What would have happened? Venom, what was you gonna do? Also, it's just like that scene there seems off, and then there's a scene where Mulligan like finds Cletus out and about out of nowhere. Like he just pulls up and like, oh, there you are. Like Cletus was just out and about wondering like, oh, this one guy we're looking for. So Stephen Graham's character ended up hurting Naomi Harris' character early in the movie, and she busts one of his eardrums, and she wanted to get revenge. So she was in this asylum separate called Ravenclaw. Cletus breaks in and saves her, and then they wanted to get married. Cletus and Frances wanted to get married. Frances, they want to get married, but they wanted 3 guests: Venom, Eddie Brock, who Cletus said Eddie Brock was going to get him killed. So he wants him there so he can murder him and have him suffer, and also murder his ex-girlfriend, who at the beginning of the movie sounded like they wasn't together, but they would be friends. And she showed Eddie like that, oh look, we have I'm engaged, which kind of kicks Venom and Eddie into their little spiral there, because Eddie's down because he couldn't be there for Annie, and Annie was like, I'm with somebody who's safe, and Eddie, you're not safe. And he's like, I have a symbiote inside of me. How can I be safe? Like, what do you want from me? And it's almost kind of like gaslighting, almost in a sense. Or I guess gaslighting not even the word for it. But it was like a sense where she was like, why aren't you sad that I'm getting engaged? Like, don't you love me enough to like pretend to be happy for me? Like, if you want to be with Eddie, just be with Eddie. But you chose the doctor guy because he's safer, and that's fine. But you made your choice. Don't go making Eddie feel bad about you getting engaged. Just be like, hey, I got engaged. I don't understand that. That to me made no sense to me in that part of the movie where she kind of made him feel bad, and then Venom has a huge crush on her, so she played to that later in the movie when they need to get Venom back to Eddie so they can go fight Carnage. But the movie is kind of all over the place too at certain points. It follows in a path, but at the same time it does take a detour, and you kind of, not detour, but it does take a moment where it gets a little scattered and characters gets introduced, and you're just like, oh, they just pop up, so here we go, let's keep it moving. There's another scene, I don't remember it right now, but that happened purely for the sake of just keeping the movie along. I don't remember exactly. It wasn't Venom talking to Miss Peggy Lou character to for example, there you go, that's another one. Peggy Lou running into Annie, or Annie running to Peggy Lou because chocolate. So she figures I just need to go to the convenience store that Eddie always go to. Eddie didn't tell her where to go. She just shows up and she's like, wait, Venom, is that you? Like, she automatically snuffs out Venom, and Venom's like, yes, it's me, and being sassy, which I do like sassy Venom. It's a fun character, but yeah, there's things in the movie that are just kind of like all over the place, and you're just like, eh. And now my review feels like all over the place because the movie's all over the place. I don't know, if you decide to watch this movie, you're going to be like, it's fine. It's fine. You're going to love Eddie and Venom's back and forth and the little fight scene they get into. This one guy that sitting next to me was cracking up left and right for the fight scene. I was just like, where are we going with this? There's a scene where Venom trying to cheer up Eddie after Eddie gets sad that he missed out on the love of his life and she's getting engaged to another man. And, you know, he had a ring. I don't remember if he had the ring in the first movie, but he had an engagement ring sitting over in his place. Also, for some reason, Francis knew where Eddie lived. Don't know why or how. I guess Cletus knew where he lived. He sent him a letter. So Cletus knew where he lived. There was a neat little art scene to get a backstory on Cletus that's usually don't see in movies that way. A little nice little design. I appreciate that. Other than that, it's fine. There's certain times you don't really understand what Venom's saying, but it's fine. It's a fine movie. It's okay. C minus. Yeah, it's doable. It's passable. Any other thoughts I don't have here? So anything else you guys think like, oh, what do you think about this part of the movie? What do you think about that part? Put in the comment section below, and then I get to it. And I might comment back to you about it. But other than that, Venom, it's okay. It's okay. It's a C minus. It's 70%. If you guys seen Venom, Let There Be Carnage, what do you think? Please put in the comment section below. What do you think of the spoilers section, which is not really much of the spoilers. It's just that like that final to stay around for the after credit scene, that mid credit scene, that is the best part of the movie. Other than that, it's fine. Well, thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all. Love y'all. Love the support. See you guys in the next episode of Movie Breakdown, series review, or movie breakdowns in general. And keep being awesome. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, you want to see what else I'm doing in my normal life and other things that's going on, please follow me on Instagram at Ali_Zakka. I'll put it right here around my face. Yep, right there. Also, if you want more episodes of movie breakdowns or grind towards success or whatever it is I'm doing on YouTube, you know what? Follow my page right here, like I said before, the little comment thing right there, And then you can watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns right here, and watch the last episode of Grind Towards Success right there. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate y'all. See y'all next time. Keep being awesome.